Alright, I'm on a roll here. Now it's time for video number 2 in the same day. And this video is about the sort of, I guess it's sort of about God. It's about God versus humans, humanity. There's this sort of split, basically devil worshippers seem to believe in this idea that it's our job on earth to make man into as great a being, a species as he can possibly be. We need to achieve whatever we can. It's all about giving us power. We need to give man every possible power we can to increase our power anyway. And on the other side of the coin, you have, kind of religion, which often says, bow down to God. You are nothing. You are but nothing but a man. You sin. You're imperfect. You must always remember who the Creator is. And, it's funny because you don't really see, you have people who believe in God and believe that He is, sort of the master and that we need to bow down, but yet they participate in a society that's based around trying to make men into gods, really, there's a lot of cases where this is it's really it becomes a question of is science trying to make gods out of men, and does that make science automatically a tool of the devil, if you believe in God? Now, of course, scientists would say, "Oh, well, no, that's ridiculous. There is no God. There is no devil. There is no." I mean, not all scientists. Some scientists do believe in God, but most scientists would scoff at the idea that we could ever know too much or have too much control. There's some ethical considerations with scientists where some scientists may not think we should delve in areas that we're delving into, but I guess I just want to make the point here that, we're getting into a lot of territory where, right now in science, where we're really pushing that limit of, let's bow down to God, we're not really bowing down very much at this point, they're trying to, and scientists are giddy with enthusiasm about knocking down these barriers between, mere mortals and what could give us godlike abilities. For example, what they're doing in Switzerland with this giant particle accelerator. They're trying to basically discover what they've even called the God particle. They want to find the Higgs boson. They want to find the particle that is responsible for all of existence. Scientists want to understand the universe in its entirety. Now, I'm sure most scientists, I'm sure a lot of scientists wouldn't necessarily say that's possible. In fact, there's even Gödel's theorem, which states that you can't know everything about a system from within the system. But, at the same time, I hear a lot of scientists on the news, TV, things that people say, "Oh, we're very close. We almost understand everything." They think we're really close. Well, are we meant to understand everything? Number one. Number two, are you just, naive? Do you really believe that we can understand, everything? Should that just be left to the gods, or am I wrong? Or are we really living in a truly random environment, and are we meant to discover everything? It's a tough philosophical question. How about genetic engineering? I watched a 60 Minutes where they were one scientist has basically created his own form of life out of rat brain cells or something like that. And this is pretty creepy, This is, some people find this behavior to be extremely questionable. And, I certainly don't feel super comfortable with it myself. Nanotechnology. With nanotechnology, we might be able to basically manifest things from, pure materials, create things out of thin air. So we need you want a burger. You might having nano machines create burgers out of raw carbon material or whatever. And it's that's just insanity. Are we meant to have that kind of power? Um, there are scientists that are concerned about the potential complications of nanotechnology, but overall, scientists are not unwilling to disavow research into things that could lead to this kind of reality, useful nanotechnology. There's scientists who want to make humans live forever. I think we can go in and alter cell walls, or there's supposedly there's a list of seven things that cause aging that they want to work on. Is it wrong for that's the other question, is it wrong for us to want to live forever? Naturally, it's our survival instinct says we need to try to live as long as we can. But if we get to the point where we can live forever, is that something is that a power we should have? I mean, our natural instincts say we want it, but our instincts, flawed. Are we not looking to a higher source of enlightenment when we desire to live forever? Certainly, I desire to live forever, but is that a temptation of the devil to want to do that? I mean, for a long time, I've kind of seen this dichotomy between our base desires, our instincts, and higher enlightenment level thinking. It seems to me as if the further we delve into our base instincts, that we can use our intellect to transcend our state of humanity, or we can use our intellect to sort of feed into those basic instinctual processes. And I think in a lot of ways, that's what we've sort of done. But, I mean, then you get into other things that are just, like computers melding with computers. I'm listening to Ray Kurzweil talk about how we can become machines. Doesn't it bother people that we're thinking of ways that we can, sort of, become more machine-like? It seems like at that point then we start to lose our humanity. Isn't there something, just completely unnatural about, putting nanotechnology into our brain to teach us things? I mean, this just sounds messed up to me. And I don't know if that's just because, I don't know, maybe it's because I am, I'd like to be somewhat religious. I don't want to say I am religious, I am an agnostic. But I think that there are some things that I really worry about messing with, and I'd say, should we be toying with things of this, kind of with this level of control? Should we have as much control as we're having? Should we aspire to have as much control as we're having? Certainly, in my mind, I can imagine a world where I had complete control, and it seems like that would be a good thing instinctually. But from an enlightened perspective, it makes me think that it's too much. We're too greedy. We want too much, and we're trying to get too much. And it kind of goes in with my same philosophy on resource. How much we use resources. In the same way, it kind of goes for control and the ability of man to do things. As man has increased its technology, it's had a detrimental effect on the natural way of things. I don't think anyone can debate that. And the question is, well, is there a certain point by which we can learn enough that we can start to reverse those detrimental effects? Or as we increase in knowledge and as we increase in capability, will we continue to, in fact, even increasingly have a negative effect on our environment and even our very own kind of existence? Will being melded with computers really be an objectively better experience than living as humans? Is it better to live as the natives did, believing in some kind of mystical spirit that controls everything, and being grateful and thankful, or do we live in a truly random universe? And is it better for us to try to take as much control and control and utilize as many resources as we can? Certainly, I'm more inclined to think that sort of being humble and bowing to God, could conceivably be the more enlightened path. But, and especially when there's a certain creepy factor with utilizing technology to its fullest. But it's hard. It's an internal conflict with me too, because I feel, they've said, we can improve I could learn to be a virtuoso musician, with nanotechnology, and certainly that has an enticing possibility. So, I don't know. I guess I don't really have any way to end this other than to say, what do you think? What's is the way to enlightenment the way back or the way forward?